It has to be Gyökeres. All day long has to be Gyökeres. But he wouldn't come to us. I guarantee you that he won't come to us. If otherwise, Bertha would have been in for him and he would have overruled the Sesko thing. Any self-respecting forward wouldn't play under this guy. Any self-respecting forward would not play under a manager who he's destroyed pretty much every forward player. Even Saka. If Saka played under a Hansi Flick or someone like that, his numbers will be twice what they are. If he played under Arne Slot, his numbers will be massive.
Who do you think?
What forward?
Who was he destroyed?
What forward?
You said he's destroyed every forward player. Who was he destroyed?
Martinelli. Martinelli was a baller under Emery. 12 goals.
Martinelli wasn't a baller under Arteta in the first 2 years, and then he
in 22-23. That was it. 22-23. Then he started, and then we went defensive. Then we changed our tactics. Went overly defensive. He has to do. Why is all the hamstring injuries? Because they're all tracking back.
Who else did he destroy? You said every forward player. Who else did he destroy?
Jesus.
Oh, so
Jesus was great. What, the first 4 months?
Jesus didn't tear his ACL. No, it was Arteta's fault as well.
Most of the injuries are his fault. He flogs the players.
Who else? Go on. You said every forward player. Who else did he destroy?
Every forward player in the team. Who's gotten better under him? Who's gotten better under him?
You said every forward player. That's
that we have. Every forward player that we have has been restricted under this man.
Quality in the first 2 years.
Trossard was balling out at Brighton. Hat-tricks at Anfield.
We only saw the best of him towards the end of the season. Trossard.
All hamstring injuries. Why are we getting so many hamstring injuries with our forward players? Because they spend so much time tracking back. You can smile all you want, man. That's just a fact.
I'm not smiling.
The numbers have dropped under this manager.
Here about Arteta and criticising and press conferences, and he's out for himself. Why do you think he's out for himself? You think the guy doesn't want Arsenal to win?
Because he's a narcissist. That's why. That's probably why you identify with him so much. This is what he does, man. This is what he does. We've seen it throughout his time. The players spend more time tracking back than they do moving forward. What did Salah say at the end of this season on the pitch when they asked him, what's the difference between Klopp and Slot? Doesn't make me track back all the time. What do you know? No hamstring injuries and more goals. No hamstring injuries and more goals.
Like we don't play 75% of our games against the low block. Do we not?
So do Liverpool.
Not as much. Liverpool play a much more open game to us.
Yes. So why do we do that?
Which of the forward players do you think he has improved then, Christian?
Yeah, exactly.
I think he improved Martinelli over the first 2 years, 100%. And then I think injuries definitely affected Martinelli. Saka, I think he definitely improved. Saka was already a good player when he came in, but he wasn't in world-class conversations. Nowhere near. Kai Havertz, I'm not a Kai Havertz fan, right? I'm actually a big, as you, Dan and DJ, you and Kenny, you'll know, I don't rate Kai Havertz in any way. But what he got out of Kai Havertz in the second half of last season, playing Kai Havertz up front and managing to get 89 points in the Premier League, is impressive to me. Yeah, and that's who else has he brought in up front?
You're also forgetting about the players that were already there. Destroyed Aubameyang, threw him off. What about Lacazette?
Yep.
No.
Destroyed him.
What about Pepe? No.
Destroyed him. He won the FA Cup with him.
Yeah. When
he won an FA Cup
they got him out.
No. Yeah, Aubameyang won it from Mikel Arteta, not vice versa. And that's that. Yeah. And then what happened a couple of seasons after? Yeah, just flogged him off. Look at all the forward line that were there. He just got rid of them because they were not good enough. Because he made them not good enough. He put Aubameyang left wing. I don't know how it was magic that he won it for us, that FA Cup. It's the only reason. And by the way, he was halfway Emery's player there this season, so he hadn't got his claws in him just yet. And then look what happened when he did in his first full season. Numbers were going that way. Lacazette that way. Pepe that way. Martinelli, I'm wondering where you're getting the 2 seasons from, because there's only the 21-22 season that was actually half any good. So where's the other season?
22-23.
I got it wrong. 22-23. It weren't 21-22 because he was adding ACL that season. So I just got that wrong. You're right. One season with that. What about the other 2 seasons? Numbers are crap. Falling off a cliff and into an infinite manholder geezer.
Martinelli never
like Martin Odegaard. Yeah, he's been terrible the last 2 years. Just like Martin Odegaard, been terrible. The second he gets his little clutches and his horrible little claws in
Martin
there,
Odegaard's been terrible the last 2 years. Martin Odegaard was the team of the season the last 2 years, yeah? This season after his injury was awful.
He's been crap. He's been getting worse.
Online
that say he's been awful. Yeah, the Premier League players who watched him up close and personal voted for him in the PFA team of the season the past 2 years. After his injury this season, he was dreadful. I admit that 100%. But don't talk about
his injury was in November and he missed 7 Premier League games. Like everyone thinks he was out for half the season. He missed 7 league games.
He had a bad injury, man.
He had an ankle sprain.
How many games? It's still a bad injury.
Can I just say, up until that injury, I've heard what games I've been watching, but I've not been impressed with Odegaard since day one this season. I mean, I'm just highlighting that. I think Odegaard this season has been probably.
He's had a bad season, man. Bad season.
Yeah, he's had a bad season. You can't gloss it. Again, you can't say since his injury, because even before his injury, he wasn't on fire. Getting back to the question, though, Dan, about the Sesko and Gyökeres. For me, obviously, it's a no-brainer. Gyökeres, obviously, is the out-and-out number 9 that we need. He's the out-and-out goal scorer that we need. Sesko's a project. But then you come back to Berta and, like the fist pump and bless up Christian's mate who bumps into him. But like, this is where I'm at. What Berta wants and what Arteta wants are two different things. I was hoping, and I'm sort of leaning towards Aaron, what he's been saying on his streams like last week. I was hoping Berta would come in and be this great big authoritative figure in the club. I was hoping that he was going to be the one that stands up to Arteta and say, look, this is what I'm here for. I'm here to do a job. This is the man I want. I know you've been wanting Sesko, blah, 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 but this is actually what we need. And that's what I was hoping. But that, to me, seems as if that's miles apart now. Again,
is that then, DJ, an Arteta problem or a Kroenke problem?
Yeah, I think I was just going to say what I think now, and what's worrying, and I don't know whether it's true, so I'm not, saying this is definitely happening. What it looks like from the outside in as an Arsenal fan is that Berta hasn't got that authority that we thought he was going to have, because Arteta is still running the show. He's still bigger than the football club. He wants Sesko. He wants Zubimendi. He wants this one. He wants that one, which I ain't got a problem with. But if you want this player, go and get him. We're negotiating with Sesko, wanting to play like Klarna settings. Oh, we'll give you it in instalments. Do you know what I mean? Why have we got whoever we go for? Don't go instalments. Go and get him. If that's who you want, go and get him into the football club with his team that he built. He built. Sorry?
There's none of this stuff going on before Arteta. When we bid 40 million and a pound.
I'm not talking about the past, Christian. I'm talking about now. I've just renewed my season ticket. I'm talking about now. Right now, we need a rebuild. Right now, we need midfield players. Right now, instead of if he'd have done the right thing, we'd have only been needing about 2 players this season. Now we're looking at midfield. We're looking at practically a whole new team.
How do you know that?
Hang on, let me land a minute. And that's without the players we've got to get rid of.
Yeah.
We've got to try and get rid of Jesus. We've got to try and get rid of Sinchenko. We've got to try and get, we've got Trossard. Yeah. Probably got to go. Martinelli's got to go. We've got to get players out the door before we get players in. It's a mess.
I completely agree with you.
It's a mess.
We've made these points before, right? I completely agree with you. The mess we're in terms of this transfer window and going forward is mad. But how do you know that's on Arteta? Because you keep going back to the manager, right?
Because
how do you know that's on him and not the owner? Even him sure.
Why do you think? Okay, then answer me this.
Because I saw this before Arteta. That's why I saw this when we bid like I said, 40 million pound for Suarez. I saw this over and over again in Januaries and summers before Arteta came in. We were left short. We were nearly there. We were the nearly club over and over again.
What you're telling the majority of the Arsenal fan, here is a man who is manager of the football club that has got no say whatsoever.
He has no say
on signings at all.
He has say. Of course, he has say. But I saw this before he came in. Did you not see this before he came in? Did you not see us nearly get over the line? Nearly. Oh, we just need a strike. How long did we need the defensive midfielder for under Wenger?
We never had this much money, though. We never had this much money to spend. We were on a tight budget then.
The Kroenkes are billionaires.
Not like this. Not like the money he's had to spend. We never had the money he had to spend.
I was just going to say that. But since he's had the money, he hasn't done it. He hasn't done the right thing since he had the money. Last season in the summer, every single Arsenal fan was disappointed, and they were turning around going, if we get a striker, that's all we need is a striker. That's all we need. Right. We only need a striker. And we'll go again next season. Even me, I was sucked in. I'm going, we get a striker in the summer. I can't wait, because I think Man City will be on a kind of transition.
Did they give him one?
What does he do? He goes and signs his signings, by the way, Calafiori and Marino.
Yeah, he signed 2 players instead of signing 1 and being shorter than he would have been already.
Oh, come on, Chris.
And he let 3 go out on loan.
on,
He let 3 go out on loan. 3 forward players go out on loan.
Yeah, because he had to make up numbers. Do you not understand? Do you not want to know what PSR
How's that
is?
making up numbers? How's getting short on numbers making up numbers? How's that making up numbers? That's shortening numbers.
Come on, man.
That makes no sense.
Money as you want, especially a club like Arsenal.
This is down to the
He has
manager.
the final say in all transfers. I don't know how hard that is to
He's a
understand.
defensive midfield player, and he goes and signs. He goes and signs a centre half. He's been messing around with goalkeepers. He's signing left backs when we've already got left backs. Come on, since he's had the money, it's been an absolute circus. And we still,
when it comes to forward players, he hasn't been even his forward player.
And we still need 6 or 7 players.
I don't understand how it's been a circus. Genuinely, just give me a sec here. How has it been a circus?
Because we haven't won anything, Christian.
Hold on.
We haven't won anything. And I'll tell you
we haven't won anything.
I'll tell you where it's been a circus. I'll tell you where it's been a circus.
One sec. Let me just land with this. You're saying it's been a circus, right?
Yeah.
We were finishing 8th consistently.
Right.
He finished 8th. It was him that finished 8th twice.
Before we won FA Cup, over it. But that was a circus, right? We're now challenging for Premier League.
He finished 8th twice. You understand that?
Hold on. Right? You're saying it's been a circus, right? Last season, and people might not want to hear this point, but this is how I see it, okay? Last season, we got 89 points. The run we went on in the last 18 games was ridiculous. We lost 1 game out of the last 18 games, yeah? In the Premier League, I don't give a shit what you say. That is impressive. That is a manager who knows what he's doing, a manager who is good enough to be in the job, yeah, to win 17 out of 18 games, to get the performances he did out of Kai Havertz, out of Bukayo Saka, out of Martinelli, yeah, to put in those performances, to get 89 points, which, by the way, is 1 point less than the Invincibles got, yeah, scored more points than the Invincibles did without a striker in the team. Is that not impressive? To me, that is not a circus. Right? If Manchester City, and I know it's if, buts, and maybes, I know we didn't win anything. If Man City had drawn 1 game out of that last 18, yeah, we would have won the league. That is how close these margins are.
They did draw 1 game against us. We should have beaten them.
Cool, they drew against. All right, if they'd drawn 1 more game, yeah, if Son had finished that chance, if, I know it's ifs, yeah, but if they had drawn 1 more, that is how close the margins are between him being one of our greatest ever managers and him being called a clown and a circus. That is how I see it.
Okay, well, how I see it.
That is how I see it, all right? I can see how good he is, and I can see how close the margins are.
Let me go back on this. You was relying on Son on that game of the season to get us over the line, right? That game, we should not have been relying on that Spurs game to win the league, right? That should have been done and dusted way before that Spurs game. The fact that it went to that Spurs game was down to the manager. Shouldn't have gone to the last game of the season. We should have won that league before that game, right? So you tell me this, right? You say about he has finished 8th when he came to he's finished 8th when he came to the club. So we haven't come from like the depths of beyond. And since he's been at the club, right, he's been pretty much every FA Cup that he's been in.
Ended off.
Carabao Cup he's been in. Every time the pressure's been under this manager in semi-finals and quarter-finals, he's not been able to do it. Bayern Munich was an absolute crap show. The semi-final against PSG, whether you like it or not, was an absolute crap show. They didn't even get out of bed. The manager in the final didn't even mention Arsenal. He mentioned Liverpool and Aston Villa was the toughest games he had on the way to the final. Didn't even mention Arsenal. Not one mention. Didn't go, oh yeah, and we had a really tough time in the semi-final against Arsenal. They didn't. They won it after 5 minutes. Carabao Cup, when we hardly had any injuries, didn't get over the line. The football was terrible. You go on about XG and this, that, and the other. The football was crap. Man United, FA Cup, 10 men, awful. And there's loads and loads of examples of this manager being put in positions where he should have, in-game management, wherever you like it, should have got us a trophy. This team has been good enough to win a trophy, and he's not been able to do it at any level. And I said the circus is the signings he's made, the money that's been wasted, the wages the players are on. Honestly, it is a mess.
Yeah.
I don't
let me just do these.
everything you said, but I still believe in the manager.
Yeah, no, and you know what?
That's fair
Look,
enough.
Christian,
No, listen, I admire you for that. I admire for, but look, if you believe in the manager, good luck to you.